Welcome to your most favorite channel, Heartbeat. My name is Dr. Amrit Kejriwal. This channel is mainly meant for MBBS students, postgraduates, medical professionals, and all those who may find it a bit more easy. It is an attempt to make the complicated medical sciences more simplified and easier for understanding.
Today we'll learn something about fever. Coming to the very basics. Normal temperature is 98.2 degree Fahrenheit plus minus 0.7. Fever is an elevation of body temperature. Normally the temperature is lower in morning, more in evening. Rectal temperature is higher. Fever greater than 106.7 degree Fahrenheit is called hyperpyrexia. It is one of the most common symptoms which brings the patient to the OPD. There are various factors that affect the body temperature: age, exercise, environment, hormonal levels, stress, and circadian rhythm. There are various types of fever: intermittent, remittent, continuous, sustained, hectic, and relapsing. We must know which kind of the fever is the patient having for a proper diagnosis. So intermittent fever is temperature is elevated but falls back to normal. Temperature that falls each day but not to normal is called remittent. Continuous or sustained, there is little change in the elevated temperature during a 24-hour period. Hectic is the difference between peak and trough temperature is great. And relapsing, fever spikes are separated by days or weeks of intervening normal temperature. Hypothalamic fever is when there is a problem with the hypothalamus itself and that is causing fever. So local trauma can cause, hemorrhage can cause, tumor, and intrinsic hypothalamic malfunction. Hyperthermia is uncontrolled increase in body temperature that exceeds the body's ability to lose heat. Hyperthermia can be fatal and does not respond to antipyretics. So diagnosis and treatment of hyperthermia is very urgent and required as it has got a high fatality rate. There are various chemicals that are involved in the pathogenesis of fever: pyrogens, cytokines, and elevation of prostaglandin E2. Coming to the approach, take the history of the patient, find out his residence and endemicity, look for contact with others and look for any vectors. Measure temperature regularly at same site to see whether the periodicity, which kind of fever he is having. Rectal temperature is greater than oral temperature and oral temperature is greater than axillary temperature. Depending upon the duration of fever, the fever can be classified into three different types: acute, subacute, and chronic or persistent. In acute, if the duration of fever is less than 7 days, subacute if the fever lasts up to 14 days, and if the lasts beyond 14 days, it is called chronic. This is required to find out whether the patient is having mainly infective or non-infective. Any fever that continues more long, the less chances it is of infective origin. Look for patients who have infection but no fever. Infants, elderly, patients who have coexistent hepatic failure, patients who have renal failure, and patients who are on immunosuppression such as glucocorticoid therapy. These patients may have infection but may not exhibit fever. CBC, ESR, and CRP. These are the basic investigations that are required, but many more investigations can be done. Many viral infections are self-limiting and can be treated with antipyretics such as paracetamol. Coming to the bacterial infections, antipyretics to be given as per requirement. Patients may require antibiotics also as per depending upon the culture reports. There can be temperature pulse dissociation, that is a relative bradycardia, commonly seen in some infections such as typhoid fever, brucellosis, leptospirosis, drug-induced fevers, factitious fevers. We must also remember that patients who have complete heart block or are on beta blockers may also show temperature pulse dissociation. Hypothermia can develop in patients with septic shock. Recurrent fevers we use mainly due to autoinflammatory autoimmune disorders such as SLE, rheumatoid arthritis. In such patients, we can use anakinra or canakinumab.